Good morning, everyone. I'm continuing my mini watercolor holiday cards, and I am focused on landscapes today. My goal is to make at least another 12 of them. I'm starting off with a mix between Deep Sea and Peach Coal from Aloha Watercolors. I want my top of my sky to be a bit darker than the bottom. Just tapping a little bit more of that dark blue at the top. And more watery towards the bottom. All right. Next, I'm going to add a mix of that peach coal. Boys, you can ignore that. And I'm also mixing in some green oxide, some chromium oxide. And I'm just going to tap in while my paint is really wet in my background with my size 16 round. And I want some background trees, really loose. Try and make them varying heights. Just fill in the space in the background there, just like that. So I haven't decided how many layers I'm going to do for this, but I'll do a few crisper, darker trees in the foreground once these are dry. All right. I'll have a few more like that, and then I saw this really nice, simple landscape that's going to use the same idea here. Really loose, dark blue background. I'm just making a quick shape here for my background. And I'm going to leave an empty circle for my moon. And fill that in. Tapping in a little bit more darkness towards the top. I'm gonna make that moon just a little bit more the size that I want. There we go. So I'm also going to let this one dry. I'll add a few trees in here. I think this was Rosalie or Roseanne Creates that I saw do this one recently. So I'll leave that one off to the side. This is another one that I've got drying. I could use some of these metallic blues for some details, but right now I'm just focused on that background layer, trying to create as many of these unique little landscapes as possible. They're going to be turned into little holiday cards for my students. I painted a bunch yesterday. Also trying to keep an eye on my two puppies that I have next to me, making sure they don't get into too much mischief while I am painting. It seems to be the time they think they can get away with things. This time I'll have the moon maybe here. Little moon. Anyone else making their own cards this year? I think this is going to be my third or fourth year creating a little watercolor gift for my students. June, you do stamp and watercolor the images. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's kind of the reason I don't do little handwritten messages. I feel like there are beautiful stamps out there that can do that for me. Yeah, that's not for me. Let's see. I did this one yesterday with salt. This was Emma Lefebvre that did a little video on this. My salt didn't really pick up a lot of that pigment, but I really like that effect. This one I added some snowflake sparkle too. So I think this is sort of my plan for some of the landscapes, right? Just do that first layer, loose background, loose hazy, and then do one tree, a little bit of some shadow. And then not everything's going to be a landscape. I did do this cute little bird, and I have the first layer of another bird done. So I'm trying to mix it up. I always tend to use these palettes by KMS for my metallic details, like a blue palette like this, my go-to for little sparkly details. All right, this one has been drying a while. I think I can go in with some detail. All of the blue backgrounds that you see are using these two colors from Aloha Watercolors. It's Deep Sea and Peach Coal. I got full pans of them from her grab bag, I think, 2 years ago. It was the only time I bought from Aloha Watercolors before I got an actual palette. I dived in. So just those two colors to make that beautiful blue background. I'm going to go in with a smaller round brush and do some trees, also using those two colors, just some loose ones. And I see this little darker outline here. I'm going to kind of use that as my guide. So I'm going to do some really loose tree shapes here. This writing desk really helped me feel comfortable making these, squiggly little trees. I painted a lot of her tutorials on YouTube, her landscapes, and really fell in love. So I painted so many trees like that I feel comfortable making some quick ones like that. I think all I'm going to do for this, I'm going to tap in a little bit more of that color right there, is some one of these sparkly blues. Maybe icicle or snowflake in the top, and then I'm done. So I don't want to go and do too much detail or too many layers, because again, I'm trying to make about 90 of these so that all my students get one. So I can do something like 5 minutes a card, but I don't really want to go beyond that. So kind of 2-ish layers seems like a good amount. I'll be hand painted and I'll sign the back, wishing them a well wishes for the next year. Something like that. I could do some, see, I want to do more already. I could do some little snowflake in the moon and have that a little shimmery. I think that would be pretty. Let's see. Doesn't have to be perfect. I think that would make it even better. So that'll be a little sparkling moon. I think that's my plan for these. Okay, so I've got this one done. Put that one off to the side. It's another thing with trying to do so many of these little ones. Hard to have them all drying in between layers. So I'll do another one of those. Maybe this one is just going to be a single big tree. Again, I want to kind of make them all a little unique, a little different. Everyone's going to have something that's just theirs. Be similar, but not identical. So. And every year I end up making a slightly different scribbly tree that I like, and I can't remember how I do it. So I think this is this year's tree. This is that exact same blue black mixture that I did for the background, just a little bit more. Are you making these for an order? No, this is just my personal watercolor card or watercolor gift that I'm going to give my classroom students. I'm a chemistry teacher and environmental science teacher. And for the past few years, I've given my students a little gift before their winter break. I tend not to sell cards unless they're, people that I know at work or friends or family. I do have an Etsy shop, but I've never listed cards unless I know someone's going to buy them. But I do have watercolor cards, so if you like this design and you tell me a number, I can tell you a price. But I think that's what I'm going to do for this. Also, you can say like, hey, I want this metallic splatter, or I don't know, custom. I'm going to use some snowflake sparkle on this, just to give it something extra. So you'll be able to see that once it's dry, all that metallic detail. All right, see, so my idea is similar, but different, right? Everybody's gonna get something. All right, put them to the side to dry. This is one that I did yesterday. So that's my dog's barking. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Next, for this one, sort of similar idea. Do you have a swatch card of the colors? They're so pretty. These blues, I don't. Trying to see if I have any paper nearby that I could use. Like my little sketchbook is downstairs. I could do that and post it as a video. This is a purple Christmas and this is a golden Christmas. If you want to see those, let me know. These just got released yesterday. What kind of cardstock? This is actually watercolor paper. This is Bao-Hung paper. It's, let's see. Trying to remember the size because it's one that I hadn't gotten before, and there are 4 of these little ones that could fit on a big sheet. Let's see. For this one, I'm going to do maybe three trees. The paints are from KMS, the metallics, and then the black and blue mix that I have for the sky, those are from Aloha Watercolor, so all handmade watercolor paint. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. The paints last me a very long time. I have watercolor pans from a couple years ago that still have plenty of paint in them. If you want to see what I'm talking about. This color right here, this is sea green. I can actually see the bottom of that one. I got that about 4 years ago, and it's my most used green, and I still have some in there. I did buy a backup of that one. I actually really like how this looks. I'm trying to think of where I want a smaller one and a tall one, and then that'll be it for this one. Thank you, Angie. I know there are so many different brushes you can use to make loose watercolor trees, but a round has always been my go-to. Okay, boys, I've got my dogs in my room in front of me, and it looks like they need a tiny bit of attention so they can stop what they're doing. I got a hold of one of my pillows. All right, I want to keep painting, but I also have to grab a puppy. So let me do that really quick. Chai, let's not do that. Oh. All right, puppy has been captured. I'm ready to paint another. Oh, Bourbon is now taking over what his brother was doing. Really just hate when I am painting and not playing with them, right? All right. This one, now that I've got my diffuse background, I kind of like this side. They are Toy Poodle Bichon mixes and about 6 months old. So they are pretty much full size. Still got a little bit more growing to do, but pretty much all the way there. About 15 pounds of puppy. All right, boys. I want to keep painting, but I think I'm really close to the allowed time for me to have to myself. This one needs, I think, a little bit of metallic splatter. Let's do Arctic Rose for them. And that's them playing with each other. Okay. some metallic blue splatter. I do have some white gouache somewhere where my palette is. I might add that on after this dries. All right, I do like these two. I like the moon a lot. I think I'm gonna have a few more with that. And this might be one of my favorites. All right, so I'm gonna be doing a bunch of these. I'll be back during the week after work, and I love that one too. And continue to make these. Probably do a couple more birds. Finish this guy off today. But that is about it. Thank you so much for joining me as I paint my way through about 90 watercolor cards for my students. Keep me company. I enjoyed the chat. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everyone. Thank you, June. Thank you, Art Made Painting. Thanks, Angie. Bye.